You're watching BCTV, Branford's community access station.
This is BCTV, Branford Government Television, a service of Branford Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of the Town of Branford.
What did Henry say, we're live?
I want to go ahead and welcome everybody tonight to the Elderly Services Commission meeting. Tonight is January 11th. My name is Lori Rockwell, and I could have the other commissioners please introduce yourselves.
I'm Dana Murphy.
Patty Torrey.
Mary Hahn.
Pat Brownell.
Susan Barnes.
Nancy Cohen.
Dagmar Ridgway, Jory Denhart Clerk.
Okay, and before we get started, I just want to let you know that we did have a resignation from the committee. Anita Perito has resigned. She decided not to renew her term, but we want to certainly thank Anita for all of her service, certainly for everything she did as far as getting the Mastery of Aging grant completed and working on the forefront and getting everything moving forward towards the new senior center. So we want to thank Anita for all of her years of service. We're going to miss her. So with that said, did everybody get a chance to review the minutes of the November 16th meeting? Do we have any corrections, additions, deletions? Do I hear a motion to approve them as written?
So moved. Seconded.
All those in favor? Okay, and before we move to the director's report, I would like to make a nomination for a co-chair, and I would like to nominate Pat. So do we have
I second
any
that.
other people that would be interested? Anybody second?
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, welcome, co-chair. Okay, I'm going to pass this on to you.
Quick and easy.
Okay, there you go. All right, Dagmar, do you want to go ahead with your report?
Sure. If you look in your packet, one of the things I did do was a calendar of the meetings for the commission. I know you have it written, but I'm a pretty visual person in things.
Okay.
So I just did a little calendar in your packet so you can have that. And the ones in blue are commission meetings, the ones in yellow are municipal holidays.
Okay, perfect.
So that just makes it easier for all of us. And the first thing I'm going to do is go over the financial report. If you want to pull that out of your packet. And we're really in good shape financially. We're right on target where we should be. Several accounts have not been expended yet, like the travel expense. We do most of ours upcoming now through the spring is when most of the team does their travel. But everything we're really on target with. We're trying to conserve as much as we can. Okay, we okay, Henry? And if you look at our endowment and the interest earned, we're gaining steadily in that. This last month, we earned $469, and that money is always earmarked for special programming. So things like we're having a harpist in a month, that's where we've always used the endowment interest to enhance our programming. And poor Nancy, when she was originally hired, we were getting like $1,500 a month in interest, like woohoo! And then it dwindled down to $1 or $2 for a while. So now it's healthy again, thank you to our finance department. So
Is it invested, Dagmar?
yeah, Jim Finch invests it and takes care of all of that, and we just reap the rewards, which right now is doing healthy. So we're able to enhance our programming, and we're grateful for that. Any questions on the finance? If you look too, which I'm very proud of and grateful to the community for the donations that we get, our medical transportation, I know I say it, but now we're over the $50,000 mark in the fund there. When, what, 8 or 9 years ago, we were down to $32, so we're doing pretty well on that. So we're grateful for that. And so any questions on the financials? No? Let's turn it over to the stats. And one of the first things in there is the fundraising. And I've got to say, I am very grateful to the Homemaker Thrift Shop that makes a donation every year, and this year they donated $1,500 into our transportation fund. They do that every year, and this year they must have had a pretty good year, and we're very grateful to everyone who supports them and that they turn it back into the community. We also got a $500 donation from Martin Hallier, who's one of our drivers who believes in the program, and so we are very thankful. So in the month of November, we had $2,000 in donations. And then in the month of December, thank you to Nancy and to all the people who work with our handcraft program that meets on Thursday mornings. And they raised close to $2,000 so far with the sales from items they made and sold at the Election Day fair and then at different craft fairs they had throughout the rest of the season at the center. So that's a phenomenal amount. And even beyond that, I think that program really relates out to the community, the abilities of seniors and the talent that we have, the sweaters, the items, the jewelry, everything they made is just so wonderful. But even beyond that is the spirit of camaraderie and help, that they help one another. So if anyone at home is saying, you know, oh, I can't knit, or I can't crochet, or I can't do these things, stop by on Thursday mornings and see what that group is creating. Beautiful sweaters, hand knit. I mean, it's phenomenal. And actually, like, one of the items won first or second prize at the Guilford Handcraft Fair. So that tells you the quality. You can't talk till they're calling you, sorry. But they really, I'm grateful for each and every one of them, and that money goes back in to that program. So that buys the supplies, and if they need any instructional things, that's really what that does. It really funds that creative arts program. So very thankful to all of them. So we did pretty well on that. And the all our other things, December and November were pretty busy months, even though we had a lot of holidays. There were so many activities, and I know Nancy's going to speak to that, but one of which both Nancy and I, again, want to thank the Rotary Club for the dinner at the Congregational Church that they put on every year. It was the 26th year they've done that, and it's our biggest event of the year. We have, I think this year we had 165 people attend. They cook a homemade meal. It's $2. And Santa comes, and it was Santa's last year of Chief Gill serving as Santa, which he's done for almost all of those 26 years. But the service above self is evident on that night. So, yeah, a good time was had by all, and Nancy will get into all the parties we had, but you guys like to have fun. That's all I can say. You really have a good time every day, but at those special events, Nancy's Hanukkah dinner, that was very well attended, and she and her team of people cook all the food. You know, do you cook for 70 people? That's not an easy task, but you give of your hearts, and it's really, throughout the holidays, we have so much, but it is very heartwarming, and people end up connecting, like at the Rotary thing. People haven't seen each other in 30 or 40 years. Oh, you're here, and it's turning over, you know. Every 7 years, they say that membership turns over in an organization, and that happens at the senior center too. New faces come in and other people transition to other places. So we are still seeing an influx of people. In terms of the transportation activities, the numbers going there, and we're really doing well with recruitment. We're having a good core of people because we do have a lot of people, volunteers. We usually have about 18 or 20 volunteers throughout the year that help us a lot go to warmer climates in the winter. I don't blame them, but we have had some new people step up to the plate. They seem to enjoy it, and that's going along pretty well. And if you look at it, it's really interesting when you look at the numbers of different people that utilize our transportation system. Where is it on there? Active riders, 683 different people are using our transportation systems, which is pretty amazing. And we've had to pull the vehicles off the road a couple of times due to the snow and for safety. One of the things that we are doing is going through our participation list and we're asking people to update their information with us, their emergency contact information, and particularly if they use our transportation, have a backup ride home in case we do have to pull vehicles off the road and someone's at a doctor and we have to pull them off unexpectedly, that we have someone to call. We've had a couple instances lately where we didn't have the updated information. It's pretty critical, particularly if someone gets ill, we want to be able to contact the family. So if you stop by the center or you just want to give a call with the updated information, we like to have your contact person's cell number so that we can call them in case of an emergency. So we are in the process of doing that. On the activities, Nancy will get into that. Do you have any questions on the numbers that we're doing?
I think so.
The mic? Okay. Okay, now you can hear me. Okay, but I'll get into then a little bit. I was talking about software. We continue with our software upgrade. We're adding a component, and the developer said he should have it by the end of this week, by tomorrow. He had a death in the family last week. We're adding a photo ID to our side. It's not a card that people will get, but it will help staff identify people, particularly, again, in an emergency. Or sometimes we want to, we see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, and we don't always know someone's name. So we will have just a little picture we'll snap, and it'll stay internal and it's secure, so it doesn't go anywhere else. But that really is for internal use. And again, all of the information that we have on record on people is secure, and we're not allowed to give it to anyone. No one else has access to it, and that's by state law. It's protected by state statutes, so we don't sell or give away anyone's information. We can't, and we don't. We don't even, if someone calls and says, will you give me someone's address, we won't do that. We'll contact that person and say, can we give your address out? So we're very, understand it's sensitive information, so we do take it very seriously on that. In terms of, I know that the housing in town, Parkside Village, has opened up their waiting lists. So if there's anyone at home, what that really means, every, 3 or 4 years, they open up a waiting list because they review who's on their list waiting to get into senior housing, because it is state and federal money that goes into those programs. And they review it and say, okay, it's down to a reasonable list now where we think you might get in. They don't want someone to say, oh, my name's on the list, and they're going to call me in the next month or two, because that probably isn't going to happen. But it's reasonable to think sometime in the next few years, if you're on that list, they might. So even if you may not need the housing now, you have to be over 62, and that is a restricted income place. They do have guidelines for that. You contact them directly at 203-481-3194 if you're interested in applying to get on their waiting list. I did want to get the word out. I did put it in the newsletter there. In terms of the state budget, I know everyone there is curious how that's affecting the seniors, and last time I reported to you, we were in the middle of a crisis in terms of the rent rebate program. They did restore the rent rebate program, but people who had applied got a reduced amount. And when I get to the social service report, I'll tell you about that. But a big thing that's been on our plate has been advocacy. And so I have been working very closely with Jamie, with our state representatives, Lonnie Reed, Sean Scanlon, Ted Kennedy, on meetings to have our voice be heard in Hartford. I wrote letters, and also our professional organization has been very active in getting some of the bills changed. And when I get to the social service report, I'll go over how effective that was. But I think it's important that the community understand that we are very much advocates, and as representatives from the commission, you too, I know people ask you all the time about it, but we're very involved with the advocacy to help people live the best life they can in our community. Let's see what else I have to talk about. The building update. Oh, yeah, that. They broke ground the end of October. We have building committee meetings once or twice a month with the appointed building committee, and also we have work sessions every other Wednesday on site in the trailer there with the builder and the town engineer and everyone that's involved in the process. We haven't gone inside yet, but they do have an official photographer that's taking pictures for the state, because the state has to document everything. And the inside's been completely gutted. And I know this, Alex says, we've seen the pictures, and Alex is like, it doesn't look like anything I know. But it has been gutted. There was asbestos that's been abated. Currently, the builder is working very hard to get helical pilings into the ground so they can pour cement and get the addition, the foundation laid while the weather cooperates. Last week was a little bit of a setback. Currently, this week, they're moving forward on that. And again, getting all the power lines. And it's a very complicated process, and it's changed a whole lot since we renovated at 11 Cherry Hill in the 80s. So it's been an interesting process, and daily there are decisions that are being made. And right now, we're working on finalizing plans for the office suite that will be there. And so they can get going as soon as the foundation's laid. They'll work on the interior work. The timeline process with Secondino is, according to the contract, I think it has to be done by October 26, 2018. So it is moving along very quickly, and we hope to be able to move in. Along with that, our team at 11 Cherry Hill, and Nancy's been busy, and all of us are busy, because we've got 40, almost 50 years of stuff in our building that we have to go through. There's catacombs and crawl spaces underneath and places people don't even know exist under there, with storage and records and all kinds of things. So we're starting to be diligent, and I have the staff on a timeline to get things in order there, so we're prepared to make a move when the fall comes and not take a lot of baggage. It's like selling your home almost and having to move and just kind of clean house a little bit. And a lot of things were mandated by the state to keep records for a certain amount of time, and now we're going through those to see what we can have shredded, but we also have to notify the state when we get rid of anything and destroy any records. We have to get their approval before we can. So it's not just, hey, I'm going to take it and throw it in a dumpster. It doesn't happen like that, nor would we do it that way. So that is a big undertaking. We're also finalizing the kitchen design moving forward. And so that's where we are in the process of the building. Do you have any questions on it from the commission?
I don't have any questions.
No?
And I know there's lots of citizens here. that
Well,
have
when you
lots
get
of
to comments, I'll be happy to
Okay.
take them.
That's
when
why
we
I'm
get
just
to
wondering
that.
if we can probably kind of go through the agenda.
Go through the agenda, that's what I'm trying to do.
Lots of people have things to say.
Yep. So, that's on that, and that's
We
pretty
voted
much
on letting the
my
citizens speak
report.
At the time the topic was up, did we not? And it was approved.
We did, but you know what we'll do? Let's run through the agenda quickly.
But we're on this subject, why can't the citizens speak to
Okay,
it
are there
now?
any citizen comments about the new building?
Just a question.
You have
Sure.
to come up and talk.
You have to
about
talk
it.
in the mic. I'll try to answer it. I'll do what I can.
And just give us your name, please. Oh,
Joe Naylor. I live on Barton Court, 34 Barton Court. And my question about the building is, the story that's been going around is that there's just going to be, for the seniors, one big room that's going to be divided up by partitions that are not soundproof. So, and the concern is if you have tap dancing in one room and another activity in another room, that would be very difficult. So I was wondering if that was the case.
No, thank you for bringing it up, because, you know, when the rumor mills are out there, if people would come ask, I'd be happy to tell them. No, there is one multi-purpose room that has dividers like this that will close with the push of a button that are soundproofed. That is one, so that a big room can be broken into 3 smaller rooms simultaneously. And there's a specific fitness room, there's a library, there are many meeting spaces in the new facility. And we also have access to rooms downstairs because the community house when we're busy, they're not, and vice versa. So our high census is during the day, their high census is evening and weekends. So we have plenty of spaces to overlap.
So they'll share rooms with other, it's sort of like in Guilford, I think?
No, we have our own space. There's an
Oh.
adult zone, the second
Yeah.
floor will be for the senior center, and totally for us. But if we needed a room for an extra class or an extra meeting downstairs, we would have access to it. But our space will be on the second floor, which will have an entrance from a parking lot
Right.
that is level into the building.
Yeah.
But the rooms, they're as soundproofed as they can be, the lighting is to it, and there are at least 4 meeting rooms, activity rooms, plus a fitness center. I know another question has come up about the bathrooms, and
Genevieve,
that
of
all,
course, yeah.
yes, that all has to go through the state, and everything's filed with the state. And they tell you, if you have this much square footage, you have to have these many bathrooms. They have to be this size. And I know they're saying there's only 1 handicap stall. That is not true. That's currently what we have at Canoe Brook. But there's a men's room and a ladies' room, and I know the ladies' room has 6 stalls and a handicap stall. And then there's another bathroom near the big mating space that has a private bathroom that is handicap accessible. So that is all determined by the state of Connecticut through them.
Okay.
But there are plenty of facilities.
And then the other, I mean, Genevieve couldn't be here tonight because she wasn't feeling well, but
Right.
her concern was the elevator. And if you did need to use the elevator to get to the second floor, is it adequate?
Yes.
For
Yeah, again, it's all.
wheelchairs or
Yep.
walkers or more than
Yep.
one person or that?
And I
Yeah.
did speak to Genevieve about it, because I know she's been a real advocate to make sure that people who are handicapped, and we expect we'll have more people access the building, because they'll be able to get in. It won't be hard to get in, and we're excited about that. And they'll be able to be dropped off in the front of the building with just level walk-in. On the side, if you look head-on at the building to the left, we're tearing down that house, that's going to be a whole parking lot, it's going to be graded so people can walk right in. And if they needed to use the elevator, it's not a one-person elevator. It's a size that the state mandates
I
we
was
have
just
to
curious,
have.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Sure.
I was just curious, I thought someone told me that if you went on the, Branford website, that you could see plans, but I couldn't find them.
I think Branford 7 has them on their website.
Branford 7?
Yeah, it's
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's on there, but it's something I'll mention at my next work site meeting, that people are asking to have the plans
Okay.
online. I'll certainly mention that
All
at
right.
my next
Thank you very much.
workshop meeting. Sure,
Thank
Sure.
you. Thank you.
I also have a question.
okay.
This concerns the cafeteria
Mm-hmm.
element for the seniors who do depend on that for their meal. Can you describe to us what that element will be?
Oh, it's going to be a state-of-the-art kitchen, so that, and part of what we're doing is planning for 30, 40 years in the future too, realizing that meals that are catered and brought in will change, and that it'll probably be prepared on site. We are going to have a full-service kitchen, including a dishwasher, a freezer, an ice maker. It's going to be state-of-the-art. And one of the big room that divides into 3, the portion closest to the kitchen is going to have a cafe feel. So it's not going to be institutional feeling. We're working on really giving it more intimacy, more cafe feeling, and also in the Waverly Pub area, we will be able to have, like soft drinks and juice drinks and a coffee inn and a coffee bar station.
Does
So-
that mean all day while
Yeah.
the seniors are
Yeah, while we're there, yeah. Yeah, so we're looking, it may not be the day we open the doors, because it's going to take some time to staff that and work it, but also there are a lot of night meetings, there's opportunity to generate revenue. If you have,
Do you intend to have a chef on
No,
hand?
no, they've told me we're-
That is not in the offering?
not at this point, but I
Is it
imagine.
under consideration?
It will be in the future, I think, because I think as state and federal money wanes on the meal programs, that we're going to have to come up with alternatives. But I have been told that because we just added a full-time casework position last year, not to expect to be able to add any more staff at this time, that it's going to be a little while. It doesn't mean that we won't in the future, and it's certainly something I think will happen, and we'll need a cafe manager to make sure if there's coffee and as an alternative,
Thank you.
so that people can have more. But no, that's where you got to go, quite frankly. That's what people want. Right, Dorothy? That's what people want more during the day. No, more food and opportunities to socialize around that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And the idea of the library and possibly easy chairs and that kind of.
Yes, there is.
Furnishing.
Yes.
Would certainly provide that atmosphere.
Yeah, it's important to have opportunities for people to connect and to take a big building and make it more intimate. An environment where people want to go, kind of like in a way, like, you know how cruise ships have all these different areas? They'll have a piano area, and we'll have that in probably the Waverly Pub. So you can have, karaoke night, you can have music play, you can have a juice bar, you can have different things. Then you can have the library where people want to do different things. It also can be a soft classroom for language classes and things like that. We have a creative arts room.
With ideas, other than the comment box.
Oh, yeah, this has been in the making for 10 years. And also, we have a professional organization where we meet with our colleagues who've recently been through this, and the architect has done many, many senior centers and has an understanding of what you need to do for the future. And I think the real keys are that you have flexibility and functionality. Because I don't know what somebody's going to want in 10 years. I mean, programming things change. I know what we need now. I have an understanding. I've seen the trends. But someday someone else in another group of people may say there's something else. But if you have space that's flexible and functional, that's important. And you mentioned a big room. Yeah, the big room can divide into 3 smaller rooms because there are times you want to have a big event with it has a patio with a deck off of it. There's times you want big events. There's other times you need a space that can have 50 people because you do have concurrent activities. And we want to be able to expand that.
Perhaps it would be advantageous to have a report of the progress and those ideas which you are presenting to just this small group of people, as opposed to publicizing it so that there are seniors in town who don't attend the senior center or these meetings would be aware of what's happening. Because many times you speak to seniors on the street or at any other venue, and they're not aware of the details, and they'd like to know that.
And they do call and they do ask, and it really is this commission in these meetings. I can tell you there are many, many people that watch these meetings at home, and the reports don't, Dorothy, I'm happy to speak with people, but I'm not the one that generates the reports. That would come from my boss, Jamie Cosgrove, and the building committee. I'm certainly willing to meet with anyone. And because ultimately, the building committee meets every month, people can go to those meetings. I can try and see if they can get the plans online. I'll bring it to the building committee. But I'm not the one making those decisions. I have input and I advocate. And we're so far into the process now, it's probably been 3 or 4 years that this has been in the planning. So it's not a time now where walls can be changed and things of that nature. It's more just fine tuning. Function will come as we're in the space and we grow with it. Again, we're looking at the big picture here, but if anyone at home would like to speak to us, I think the important thing is everyone sees their space, and I think we've accomplished that everyone who currently uses this center says, are you still going to have tap dance? Yes. Are you still going to have yoga? Yes. Are you still going to have movies? Yes. Are you still going to have food? Yes. So there are places for all the activities we currently do, but flexibility for the future. And I will bring your comments to the appropriate committees.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Yeah.
Can I piggyback on one point?
Microphone.
I'd like to piggyback on one point that was made about communication between the seniors and the commissioners and our staff here. My sense is, the newsletter that goes out is amazing. It's wonderful. I think so much work is put in by Nancy and Dagmar in letting us know of all the events. But maybe I haven't seen it, but I haven't seen mention of this meeting. And as commissioners,
It's in
It's
there.
on the front page.
It's on the front page.
I have
It's always there,
missed it.
yeah.
It's on the front
Okay,
page.
because a lot, it seems like a lot of people don't, so it's on the front page in every newsletter.
Yes.
It is,
About
and a lot of people watch it at home. A lot of people comment that they watch it in the privacy of their home, and that's why they're taped. They're not mandated to be taped, but it was a request, and we do that so people have the information.
Oh, so then they watch it and then they get back to
Yeah,
you?
yeah, they
Okay.
call. Or they stop us on the street or the grocery
Yeah.
store, or wherever we are.
And as of tonight, you can stream it on Facebook.
There you go.
There you go. One more question. And then I'm going to do a couple more, and then unfortunately, we've got to get through our agenda.
It's
And we-
5:30.
Okay, if you have quick comments. Okay, I'm sorry.
Are you planning to replace the technology person?
Right now, I can tell you that our HR department is without an HR director or assistant director. So until those positions are there, my understanding is we need to wait until we have leadership in that department till our Diane Scanziano, who is our HR director, resigned right around Christmas. So that position has not been posted and filled yet. So I am hoping to, it is in
It's
our
important,
budget.
yeah.
It is in our budget, but it's a matter of it's not been posted or interviewed yet.
In terms of the crafts that people make, have you ever considered having a designated area where people could buy them, like when they come into the center?
We have, yeah, we have
have
it.
that.
It would be great.
Yeah, right now, we do have a little pop-up shop. It's in the Brady Room.
Oh.
And so we have some stuff
We do.
hanging in there. But if you came to me and said, hey, Nancy, I'm looking for earrings, I
Yeah.
know where the earrings are. I can go
Okay.
get them. So.
Yeah, because,
And in the new
a
facility,
profit
there is a
center.
display case
yeah,
where we'll be able to display
Great.
items.
great. Even, I go to Homemaker's Corner a lot. That would even be maybe, not. They're wonderful over there. So I just thought it would be a profit center. That
Yep,
could
we
be
do.
Good
good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay, David Schneider, 78 Cedar Street. The only thing that I'm concerned about right now is the communications that my wife Marge mentioned, and that is, Genevieve was very outspoken, but nobody answered her.
We did.
Yeah.
She
met
didn't know
with
about
me.
the partitions, and she didn't know about the,
We've spoken to her on several occasions.
She's
I
been in
have.
Dagmar's office. Dagmar's shown her different things.
She has.
Please, quickly. Morale, it spreads from person to person, and somehow, I don't know why and how, but this idea that it's one big room and nothing but that it's spread, and it's brought down some morale, because it's like, oh my God, it's much better where we are.
It's not that.
So then
way.
can we get that out, quickly enough so that, that we understand it as a group of
Sure.
concerned people? Because somehow it's
Stop by
spreading-
my office. I'd be happy to show you
No,
what I have.
now I know, but I mean to others.
I can show it to people.
Because somehow
Okay.
it's falsely spreading and it's not positive and it's not true, so
They're
I'd
welcome.
like to see that
Okay,
put to rest.
okay.
I'd just like to say, I'm so happy to see so many nice new faces here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Absolutely.
coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, my goodness. All right, and unfortunately, tonight, we do have limited time. We do have to close the meeting by 5:50, which I sincerely apologize, but I do appreciate all of your comments. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
No, absolutely,
Thank you.
absolutely. So, with that said, let's talk about the annual report. Did everyone on the commission get a chance to
Yes.
review it? Are there any comments about the annual report? Dagmar, did you have anything to say?
Yeah, I did speak with Lisa Arpin, who's the town clerk. In past years, they used to publish a book of all the annual reports. She hasn't done it in the last few years. She says she's going to try to do it this year, but has not given me a definite that they are.
Okay.
But they are at the town clerk's office.
Okay,
On file there, and they have to file them with the state.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We can get a
So do we
copy.
need a motion to approve them?
No, because they've been submitted.
They've already been submitted.
I
So,
think last meeting there was, you said you asked for people for input. You can vote on it.
no, I think we're good. I
If
mean, it's
you may
done.
want to do it procedurally, just so you have it,
No,
Lori.
I think it's done. It's
Let's
done.
talk
If it's
to the
already going to be
commission.
filed, I think we're good. All righty?
We had to make that deadline.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. So Nancy, do you have any comments on programming?
Yeah, I'll be very quick. So as Dagmar said, we've had a lot of parties over the holidays. It was wonderful. So some of the special things coming up, for those of you who are veterans, we're doing a coffee hour on January 21st, 24th, so that you learn how to access different local, state, and national VA benefits. So that's on the 24th at 10:30 in the morning. So please give me a call. We'd love to have you join us. And we have an expert from the VA that will be happy to share the information with you. February is Black History Month, and I'm happy to report that Bob Gill and his daughter Roberta Gill Brooks will be at the center to talk about Black history right in our town of Branford. And that'll be at 11 in the morning. Anything that you see in the newsletter, or you hear Dagmar or myself talk about, and you're interested, please call, send an email, because I need to know who's coming so I know how to set up a room. And if there's a lot of people, I need to get a larger room. So that's really important. On Valentine's Day, we have Grace Cloutier. She's a harpist. She's coming at 1 in the afternoon. It's $3. She's phenomenal. We're having refreshments afterwards. And she was a student at Yale, and back in 2006, Matt Brady, our former director, took a group of seniors to Carnegie Hall, where she had her debut. So we have a special relationship with her. She is amazing. So if you love music, please sign up. It's going to be a really great afternoon. And for any of you who are married, not married, whatever it may be, we're doing the unofficial newlywed game. Give me a call, I'll tell you the details.
Or not so newlywed.
Or not so newlywed game, whatever. You don't have to be married, you could have a significant other, so it's great, it'll be fun. And we have an annual event, we celebrate the Chinese New Year, which is February 16th. And one of our members, Helen Wong, is going to be talking about Chinese medicine. And then we are having lunch. She is not cooking for everyone, as the rumor mill has been going around. It is being catered by Lion City. And then we're going to show a short DVD with a lot of the history and culture. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's $7, so come on down, sign up. And then 2 really cool trips we're doing. We have a group of people who do genealogy. They're doing a very special event just for seniors at the Connecticut Science Museum. It's an ancestry program, and then when the program's over, we'll be able to explore the museum on our own. We're also doing lunch, and the restaurant we're going to is the old Sage Allen's building. It'll be really cool.
Nancy's excited about that.
Yeah, bring back happy memories of my youth. So that's on Thursday, March 15th. It's $66. Great food, great time. It's a wonderful museum if you've never been there. And then also, for those of you who have a bucket list and have been dying to go skydiving, I will not jump out of an airplane with you, but we're going to iFly, which is an indoor skydiving place. Don't you guys should come.
It's fabulous.
It's a fabulous event.
Marlo did it.
One of our
And
coworkers did it. It's very cool. It's uplifting. We're going April 11th. So give me a call. I'll be happy to give you the
Where is it,
details.
Nancy?
It's in Westchester.
I think I
Yeah.
read about it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So,
You get 2 flights.
yeah, don't
Wow.
poo-poo it. It's something that everyone should do before they're no longer here anymore. So,
Are there any physical?
yeah, there's.
Under 300 pounds.
You have to be under 300 pounds. If you have shoulder dislocations, no, you can't do it. If you've had any heart issues or back issues, talk to your doctor before you sign up. But I can give you all the particulars. I do have a more detailed flyer that has more information than the newsletter that gives you more of the restrictions, so I'll be happy to share it with you. But it'll be a lot of fun. So
Are you
come
jumping,
on down.
Dorothy?
Huh?
Dorothy will do it.
Are you jumping?
Hey, Dorothy does a lot of
Oh, my
things,
goodness.
so.
So there's
shall
something for
say.
everyone, is what
Yeah.
Nancy's saying.
Yeah, hey, she's been kayaking, It's
Hey,
good.
never say never,
That's,
right?
so.
We give opportunities for people to grow and explore and to do things and challenge themselves. And
Do any-
that's one of the things, Marlo came back, said, we really ought to do it, so we're doing it.
Yeah. Do any of you have any questions or
No,
concerns?
thank you, though, for that report.
Okay.
Maybe we'll follow up with that eye lift after. We'll see. All right, Dag, do you want to go over the social services
Yes.
report quickly?
I will do that in about 6 minutes here. Currently, we have 741 families that have requested appointments to be seen for the fuel assistance programs. To date, we've processed 332 applications, and all appointment letters for people who've requested them have gone out. We're booked straight through February, and this is a result of having a full-time caseworker on staff. In the past, in January, we'd still be doing electric, and we wouldn't get the gas completed till April or May. So we're really able to help people. The appointments actually take longer because people who have electricity, we have to code their account of hardship. People who have gas, we cannot do it. And also, the state is scrutinizing income and asset and bank statements very, very carefully, where in the past, if it was over a certain threshold, a deposit or income, they would say if it was below that, they'd let it go. Now, anything $10 and over, they're questioning. So, well, we're in a tough budget time, and they're really being strict on that. So it does take us longer to do the appointments.
Are those appointments just for seniors?
No, they're for
That's right.
people of all ages, families and people of all ages. It's actually 741 families, households, I should say, that are in the process of applying.
And the
currently.
senior center does all the applications?
We do all that. We are the designated intake site by the state of Connecticut for the municipality. Okay? And just like our medical transportation is people of all ages, many of our social services, such as this program and the rent rebate, are people of all ages. And that really came about just so people could come in anonymously and not to a site that said you need help, but they could come in anonymously. Operation Fuel has opened the winter program, and we're using it for people who do not qualify for state assistance. It's only like $5,000 that they give us, so the grants aren't that big, but it helps get people through a crunch. I do want to speak to the two programs, the Medicare Savings Program and the rent rebate programs that have been all over the state. Last time we were here, we were in the middle of advocating for the rent rebate program. The state did fund it in the current year. However, they reduced the awards by 10%. So if someone was going to get $500, they got $50 less, they got $450, and the checks were delayed in coming out. What the program will look like next year, I do not know. I imagine there will be an asset test and higher income guidelines. I think it will slowly be phased out. But again, now we have time to work on it before the program year starts in May. But the budget for the state is supposed to be in place, I think, by July or September. So we'll see where that goes. But for now, people did get their checks. The bad part you'll see in here, it was $164,901 that were awards to people, which is a great amount, but the town has to pay 50% of that without input into guidelines. So the town has to pay $74,995 of those grants that go into people's pockets. And the way they're doing that is the state gives grant monies to the town, municipal grants, they call them, and they're going to reduce the amount of the municipal grants by that $75,000. So that's how it is. The town doesn't actually have to give them a check, but they're going to get less money from the state. I expect there will be changes to the program next year. I don't know what they'll look like. We'll continue to advocate. There were a total of 341 applicants for the renter's rebate. 317 of those families qualified. When we move on to the Medicare Savings Program, which again, our professional organization has been very active in these programs, and that was a federal program that the state enhanced. When they took away ComPACE that helped pay for prescriptions and the government put in Medicare Part D for drugs, the state said, okay, we got to help people pay for these premiums. We're requiring people to do it, we'll help them pay for it. We are one of 4 states that has not completely eliminated state funding to the Medicare savings plans. And the way in which they went about it was not fair to our people who participated in that program, didn't give people time to plan, didn't give people time to explore other options, or the municipalities that have to do the applications, the time to get staff to do it. So they extended the program until July 1st, which is a new budget season, so it remains intact for this current fiscal year. And it actually is at a cost of how many million? I put $54 million. It's a very expensive program. They took a lot of it out of teachers' retirement program, $19.4 million out of that. They move money around from one fiscal year to the next. Again, we will continue to advocate for this program, but expect changes and most likely an asset test. Right now, there is no asset test, and I expect that will be changing come the new year. But we have time, and we have time to tell people what may happen. They'll be able to have input into it, but it was really public outcry that delayed it. Many people depend upon that. But again, we're one of the few states in the nation that still has state funding into the program. Most states have gone to the federal levels over a period of time, and then we'll probably, again, I expect this will probably be phased down significantly to the federal level. But again, we will advocate and keep people informed. It's a short-term fix, but it'll be time to prepare and advocate. And that's it on the social service. Those are the 2 important things, and if people have any questions, they can call Marlo at the Senior Center for more information, or give me a call, and we'll be happy to speak to them, and we'll keep the commission informed as well.
Okay, thank you, Dag. We have 4 minutes for comments, and I know, Dorothy, that you had something very important that you wanted to discuss with the commission. Do you want to raise the issue, and we can continue with our next meeting?
The microphone. Can we begin anyway?
Do you have the microphone?
Microphone? Let's save a little bit of time. Thank you, Dorothy.
Have you had an opportunity, has all the members had an opportunity to receive my communication?
They have not,
in
but
the
they will
box?
shortly. Right after this meeting, they will. I'll send an
All
email
right.
to everybody.
Would it be more advantageous if the copies were made and they were able to see it?
Absolutely.
And then take it up in its total manner next week?
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
I think that's
Okay. Any other quick comments
Just what I'm saying.
from any citizens?
Too much reports.
Anybody have anything else?
The only thing I want to say is I'm really glad you're here. And again, if you hear a rumor and you want an answer and you don't want to wait till a meeting, feel free to knock on our doors and ask us. Because if we can answer a question, we're happy to do that. I didn't either, but now I know. But anyway, please feel free to give us a call or email us or stop by.
It probably is.
Whatever.
Anything.
It's what's going around, and if it's affecting morale, I'd like to know. Nancy would
Yeah.
like to know. Marla would like to know. So we're happy to talk with you. It's all an open book. It's your space.
There you go. All right, well, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. I appreciate all your comments. So with that, do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second, all those in favor? Aye. All right, next meeting will be March 8th. Okay, thank you all for coming.
Thanks.
The preceding program was brought to you through the support of the Town of Branford. Watch town meetings or other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.